Hello everyone. I am Dr. Shukti Parna, a first year dermatology resident at Medical College, Kolkata. I have done my MBBS from King George's Medical University, Lucknow. My NEET PG All India rank in the year 2024 was 573. Just a main disclaimer before starting my video is that do not go about binging YouTube videos, especially during this time, because you have a few months left. And binging through a lot of videos will often make you more depressed or more confused. So I would say that stick to a particular creator or a particular mentor. I would suggest you to go through the most reliable and the most authentic videos which are uploaded by faculties from various institutes. Maybe you can have your own preferences regarding whom you want to follow. In my case, I did rely on YouTube to a great extent. I followed some teachers. Their motivational videos really helped me, especially during times when I did not feel like studying or I found myself lost from the track. But just this disclaimer before starting the main part of my video is that if you want, you can watch this, or if you do not, you can simply go away, go back to studying. But if you are looking for some concise advice, which I'm here to give, then please go through it. So the first thing that I would like to tell you is that please calm down. See, whichever stage of preparation you are in, whether you are in the your first revision, second revision, fifth revision, it does not matter. Most of you who have been doing a very good preparation, you have been feeling satisfied about yourself. The key is that you have to keep this momentum on till the last day. And those of you who think have just started, who are not very hopeful about their preparation, there is still hope for them. This is a main takeaway that I want you to take away from today's video, is that whichever stage you are in, you always have a chance. Fine. So coming to some technicalities, see, the three main pillars of the exam are, firstly, your concise revisable notes. Secondly, it is the PYQs or MCQs. To be specific, when you solve PYQs, you have to focus on the PYTs, that is the previous year topics, and not simply the question. And the third important pillar is that you have to give regular GTs. By regular, I mean that you have to give GTs at specific intervals. I will just now discuss about what your intervals should be. But do not be very over-enthusiastic about attempting GTs. Neither be very reluctant. Don't think that a poor score will demotivate you. Because after all, you actually have to attempt an exam. It is an exam that you are preparing for, right? So you cannot go about escaping this exam scenario for long. Fine. So coming to the notes, first, revisable, concise notes. If you have your notes from whichever source you have prepared, stick to that. Make it as concise as possible. Go on revising them. But remember one thing, you are not here to satisfy your notes. If you have a 50-page note for a particular subject and you are thinking that you have skipped a few parts of it and you are having some sort of FOMO, that you have not read a particular topic, then don't fret about it, because you are not here to complete a syllabus. You are here to attempt exam. You are here to make sure that your MCQs go right. For that, you should not go about starting reading your notes from one side and go on completing them one by one, chapter by chapter. You can read them randomly. You can read them as and when they come to you in the form of questions. Fine. But when you have made a slot for a particular subject, make sure that you complete it within that slot and don't go about reading the entire notes from top to bottom. The more concise you will make it, the more quickly you will be able to complete it. Okay. Coming to the previous year questions, if you have been preparing through previous year questions for a long time, then it is likely that your brain remembers them. Even if you don't, your brain remembers them, right? So the moment a familiar question pops up before you, even before reading the whole question, you know the answer. So that is a kind of bias that attempting such questions will create. So what you have to do is you have to focus on the previous year topics. The questions that you find, you should go back to your notes and read them from your notes. The topic is important because the same question might not be repeated, but any other question from the same topic might come up. So prepare that topic well. And as you practice MCQs, do them in the form of a mixed bag of both PYQs and new questions. So when you will practice new questions, you will be able to apply the knowledge that you have in a real exam-like situation. For this, one very useful advice is that since the exam is slot-based, so you can go about preparing yourself for facing that exam scenario by solving in a time-bound way 40 questions in 42 minutes every day. So prepare a custom module containing questions from all the 19 subjects and set a timer and solve the 40 questions in 42 minutes. So even if you are not giving a GT every day, which is obviously not advisable at all, your brain will get accustomed to solving questions in a time-bound manner. Since the exam is slot-based, it is actually a very advantageous point for you that you will be able to get done with one slot a set of 40 questions in 42 minutes. You will not have to come back to question number 1 after attempting question number 200. So besides preparing your subject, the subject that you are studying each day, also make sure that you solve a mixed bag of MCQs in a time-based manner each day, starting from now itself. Thirdly, the third important pillar of the exam is attempting grand tests. So for now, for the next 2 or 3 months, you can go about solving one grand test per month. In the last 2 months, 2 to 2.5 months, you have to increase the frequency to 1 GT every fortnightly. And thereafter, in the last month, you can attempt 1 GT every week. So attempting a GT is in itself a task of one whole day. You will attempt a GT, you will have to focus your brain for 3.5 hours straight without deviating. And then you will have to go back, analyze each and every question, find out what kind of mistake you have made in them, whether it is a memory-based, recall-based mistake or whether it is an analytical mistake. If it is a recall mistake, then you go back to your notes and revise them. That means that in that subject or in that topic, your revision is a bit weaker. If it is a conceptual problem, then you have to go back to your notes or even sometimes you have to go back to some video to clear your concept about that particular topic. Now beware about one point here. Only if the topic is very important, like if you have found quite a many questions from that topic, only then go about clearing your concept because you do not have a lot of time to go through videos. Also, while watching videos, you will have to understand that you have to get done with it as quickly as possible without compromising your quality of understanding. Otherwise, the whole point will be futile. So when you are lacking on any concept, you can go back to your notes or to the videos and clear them, and only if it is very important, then go about doing all these things. Fine. And if it is an analytical mistake that you know a certain fact, but maybe a slip of the moment, or because of your failure to understand the question at that particular point of time, you have failed to answer that, then note down that kind of mistake in a small notebook. And thereafter, if you go through the explanation of that question, your brain will remember what kind of mistakes you are prone to make. Now try to analyze why you have failed to understand what the examiner was asking for. And in that way, you will soon be able to decode what the examiner's thinking process is like, what you think a certain language means and what they think, what kind of language they put when they want to get that particular kind of answer from you. All these things you will be able to understand only when you go through the solutions or review the GT. Simply attempting a GT is not enough. Attempting a GT will give you the clear idea of time management, focus management, but it is equally important to review your GT. But one very important point is that you have to remember to not fret over your GT scores. Now see, thousands of people are attempting GTs on various platforms. Marrow is the most widespreadly attempted GT platform, and you cannot say that a particular rank corresponds to a particular marks in real exam scenario. So do not fret over your GT scores. Always try to improve, but do not take it by your heart, right? This was about the technicalities of how to go about with your preparation, the content of it. Now I will tell you about the time management. Since now you know the date of the exam, divide the rest of the time that you have in your hand in a retrograde fashion. See, the most important day of your preparation is the last day. Okay? So today you are preparing to make your next day easier, to finally make the last day before the exam easier. So the most important day is the last day before exam. 1 or 2 days before the exam, you will only flip through the very, very important things that you have studied all through the rest of the time. So around 3 weeks before those final 2 days are the days for your final revision. Those last 2 days are for your ultimate revision. So in the 3 weeks before the last 2 days, you will divide it into a slot of last 7 days and the rest of the 10 days to 2 weeks. Fine. Last 3 weeks or around 21 days, you will divide as a last 1 week and second last 2 weeks or around 10 days, depending upon how much time you have. I am just giving you a rough idea. You will actually have to make your own slots, and there are hundreds of videos available from prominent faculties like the ones who are the faculties in Marrow. You can follow their videos for the exact scheduling, but since I am making this video for general everyone, whichever platform you belong to, this is a average idea of the time slots that I am giving. So in the last week of the final revision slot, you will study the most volatile subjects and the small subjects, the shorter subjects like psychiatry or anesthesia, and the volatile subjects like PSM, micro. And the 2 weeks before that last week slot, you will study the larger subjects, the subjects which constitute a heavy weightage in the exam as well as need more time to complete, like your medicine, surgery, gynecology, pediatrics, and even pathology, pharmacology. Pharma, for some people, come in the group of category of volatile subjects. So you can shift its slot to a later phase also, because the nearer to the exam you will study a volatile subject, the chances of your retention in the exam will increase. And then before the final revision slot, you have another 1.5 months for the second last revision. So in that slot, again you will divide it into mini slots for various subjects depending upon the weightage of various subjects. Suppose I am giving you an example. In the last 1.5 months before that 3-week slot, you might divide larger subjects like medicine or surgery into 4 days slots. Like you will allot only 4 days or 5 days for medicine, 5 days for surgery. Suppose you have some subjects which is better prepared like pediatrics. For some it may need 3 days. Some who is better prepared might complete it in 2 days. But you have to remember that you have to divide slots for all the 19 subjects in the last 1.5 months, in a 1.5 months time. See, any subject can be completed in any number of days. You can complete a subject in one night and even in 1 year. Fine. As MBBS students, we all have faced that. So what makes the difference in the revision strategy? It is the amount of time you allot to them. With every cycle of revision, the time that is required for completing or covering each subject will consecutively go on decreasing. It is because the more repetition your brain finds, the easier for it will become to remember them once they present in front of your eyes. I am trying to tell you again and again that divide the subject slots in the revision cycle slot on the basis of its weightage and also on the basis of your hold on that subject. If some subject is weak for you, suppose medicine is a weak subject for you, then someone who can complete it in 4 days, your preparation will be different from that person. You might need 6 days. In that case, you will have to divide your time accordingly. And suppose if you do not have so much time, if you are finding that your 19 subject slot to be adequate is requiring 50 days for completion and you only have 45 days or 40 days in that cycle slot, so you will have to then prioritize. It might happen that some units from some subjects might get missed up. So one strategy for this is to give yourself a break. After every 1 week or 10 days, keep a cheat day. So what will you do in this cheat day? You will do only a few MCQs. Suppose it will be a relaxing day for you, and you will also catch up on the subjects that you have, on the topics from various subjects that you have lost upon. You have not been able to follow in the definite schedule that you have made. Another important point that helped me immensely in my preparation, since I had very little time while I was preparing, it was the concept of the 20th notebook. So what will you include in your 20th notebook? If any one of you who has not started making it, then it is still good enough time to start making it, and do not fret about what all you have to include in it. See, there is no hard and fast rules about what you should add in your 20th notebook. It is very individualized and very personalized concept. Whatever you find is important and you tend to forget it, just include it in your 20th notebook. It may be some table, it may be some random point that you may add as a star. It can be anything. Another option is to DM yourself in your WhatsApp. You can DM yourself. Suppose there is an important table or an important image. For example, I would like to share with you, I was confused between the images of a Kohl-Exner body and a Schiller-Duval body. So what I did was I googled up their images and I sent them to my own WhatsApp number. So in that way, when you keep a digital copy of your notes, just as you jot down points in your notebook or your 20th copy, you can also keep certain points certain tables or images. Since you can't put images in your notebook, you can keep them jotted down digitally in your own WhatsApp account. So this helps because when you are traveling somewhere or you are in your duties, you can just go through them, flip through them, and just flipping through them crossing in front of your eyes will act as a memory booster, because your visual memory will be stimulated, and this exam just requires these things only. You have to notice one spotter. You have to remember the relevant points. Suppose in step questions, what you have to do is you have to make a diagnosis first, and then suppose you may be asked about some treatment or some classification after you have made the diagnosis. So for all these things, you have to be able to crack the question in both steps. Only after you crack the first step, you will be able to arrive at the answer. So reinforcing your memory again and again is very important. For that, this 20th notebook or this digital jotting down of your notes in your own WhatsApp account can help. At least it helped a lot in my case. So with these points, these three pillars of preparation, that is the concise, revisable notes, secondly the MCQs, and thirdly the grant tests, and last but not the least, the 20th notebook. With these four pillars, I hope you will be able to grasp the strategy and your preparation strategy quite well. If you have any doubts regarding these strategies or the particularities of this strategy, you can always put up in the comments. However, I have collected them over this 1 year of preparation and also through my own experiences, and these are the things which worked for me the best, and especially taking into account the very little time that I had in my hand, which also made me underconfident in many points of time, because that was not the most ideal way of preparing. However, since it worked in my case, I hope it will also help you. And with that, I would like to put an end. All the best from my side. Hope you ace through this phase of your life happily, and we'll see you on the other end.